All right, it's still strictly politics, and we're back after that little technical itch. We're talking about the Budget 2021 proposal that was presented today by the President. A lot of interest in that matter. Of course, understandably, all of Nigeria's economy, policies, and direction is hinged largely on our appropriation for the year. All of the capital projects and all of the programs and plans of the government in talking about development in all areas depends on the appropriation, and that's why it's understandable the level of interest that this has generated. Some people are also beginning to talk about some details in that budget. For example, the idea that the president has proposed yet again 100 billion naira for constituency allowance. We'll talk about all of those. There's also the concern about if the whole talk about Nigeria running into a recession would eventually come to be, or would this budget of consolidation and resilience deal with that problem? This is also the issue of ASU's strike and all of the back and forth between the federal government and ASU about the IPPS. And now the latest is that the federal government is saying that no lecturer would earn any pay whatsoever if he or she is not on the IPPS. That's also the issue of Ondo State, very big. In just a few days, on Saturday to be precise, the residents of that state will march to the polls to select a governor. There are several contenders, including the incumbent governor, in this contest. There's so much going on. The PDP has complained about the proposed appointment of the Vice Chancellor of the Obafemi Awolowo University, Professor Ogunbode. Ogunbodede, exactly. So, and as the chief returning officer for that election, they argue that his relationship with the incumbent governor as a friend, a long-time friend for that matter, and an ally, could bar him from performing that role with fairness and justice. And the PDP has said without a doubt that INEC should look for an alternative. Otherwise, they're already setting down the recipe for them to go to the tribunal immediately after the elections. There's also the protests across the country today about the End SARS campaign and how a lot of Nigerians have been talking about the need to stop police brutality by way of some tactical units, in particular this time around the SARS. There's also several other things that has been ongoing in the politics. My name is Hakeem Ishola. Today on the show, we would be joined by, as I speak, we're being joined now by Honorable Benjamin Kalu, who is the spokesman of the House of Representatives. Thank you very much, Honorable Kalu, for joining us on the show.
Thank you for inviting me, and viewers, thank you for tuning in.
Okay, we'll take a break, and when we come back, we'll deal with all of the issues, and most importantly, the issue of the budget, because indeed, it's not just about the economy, it's also so very much about the politics. This is Strictly Politics. We'll be right back.
2020 has been a very challenging year for me. I lost my best friend and life partner, my wife of over 43 years, Evelyn Murray Bruce. But I was not alone in grief. Two other people I respect have also mourned this year. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar lost Malam Umar Paria, his lifelong friend and loyalist, and President Muhammadu Buhari lost Malam Abba Kyari, his trusted chief of staff. Having gone through so much grief, we must now also empathize with other Nigerians who are mourning. I lost my dearest wife, Evelyn, I know firsthand the pain of losing someone so dear to you. I was so depressed, I felt hopeless, and it took God, time, and friends and family to give me the hope I needed. I have first-hand experience of how painful and unpleasant grief and mourning can be. So I am in a better position to identify with those whose loved ones have been either killed, brutalized, or mistreated by policemen of the Special Anti-Robbery Squad known as SARS and other trigger-happy tactical units. The police should be a friend, not a killer. We must learn from the protests in the U.S. after the death of George Floyd, followed by the various Black Lives Matter protests around the world and the move to make policing more effective and less lethal. That is why I appeal to President Muhammadu Buhari to end SARS now, not reform it, but end SARS now. Let us make sure that no Nigerian is unnecessarily bereaved by unjustified killings by policemen. My name is Ben Murray Bruce, and I just want to make common sense.
Have you registered for Silverbird Project Inspire? To register, dial *745*45 your BVN hash and send. Stand a chance to achieve your dreams.
All right, you're welcome back. It's Strictly Politics. Here we discuss politics, national development, and everything else in between. We have joining us today, once again, the spokesman of the House of Representatives, Honorable Benjamin Kalu. Let me welcome you once again to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. Thank you, Nigerians,
today,
for
yes,
tuning in.
today has been a rather busy day for the National Assembly because it was a day that the joint session of the National Assembly had to host the president to listen to what he has in terms of the appropriation proposal, or the budget proposal, if you like, for 2021. And what were your expectations? And would you say, on a general note, before we go into the issues, that what you saw today met your expectation?
Yeah, thank you very much. You will recall that the objective of this night's assembly, the legislative agenda, we proposed that we wanted to change the budget calendar from what it was to what it ought to be, which is January now to December. And many people were afraid if we were going to live up to expectation with regards to sustaining it. Today, we are joyful that the collaboration with the executive has given room for us to sustain this particular initiative that we brought in last year. Having done the MTAF, the medium-term expenditure framework, which has given the window for them to come for the presentation today, they have passed the ball to our court for us to be able to meet up our plans to ensure that by the end of this fiscal year, which is going to be in December, January, a new budget will be activated. That is, the 2021 budget will be activated. Generally speaking, my expectation, am I happy with what was done today? Granted, we have not gone into the deep critical analysis as expected by the provision of the Constitution, making this bill become an act. We have not done the deep dive, but the general view on this particular piece of legislation shows hope. First, I like the title of this bill, which says economic recovery and resilience. And it is, if you look at it, it's a roadmap for post-coronavirus economic recovery as a transitional plan to take us from the economic recovery and growth plan of 2017 to 2020 to the successor medium-term national development plan, which is running from 2021 to 2025. What are the key objectives that we have just seen while glancing through this document. It is stimulating the economy, creating jobs, enhancing growth, creating infrastructural investment, and promoting manufacturing and local production. Now, when you look at the total budget from what it was before, which was 10 point something trillion, it is now 13.08 trillion, a reflection of 21% increase from the previous 2020 budget. The benchmark, which Nigerians need to know, the dollar exchange is benchmarked on 379 exchange rate, and the oil, which was on $28 per barrel last year, has been benchmarked $40 per barrel. The oil production volume that we are looking at for this budget is 1.86 million per day. And the projected GDP, growth target is at 3%. And you look at the projected inflation, it is at 11.95%. This finance bill, we are expecting that is going to, follow up with this particular budget. Is the president assured us today is going to come from the Ministry of Finance in no distance time. Now, Nigerians are wondering, where is the money going to come from? The available revenue for this from the budget, just glancing through what I'm giving you is like a synopsis of what, when we glance through it without going into the deep analysis, shows that 7.886 trillion is going to be the expected budgeted revenue. And the interesting part with this budget is that the budget now shows budgeted revenue for each of the MDAs, along with their expenditure estimate as well. The budget deficit, yes, people have been talking about it, is at 5.20 trillion. And people are wondering, how are we going to finance it? Yes, there will be new borrowing.
Very well, Honorable.
From what their proposal is showing.
Okay, yeah, I like the fact that you have laid the foundation in terms of all of the work that has been done around the budget and some of the key areas upon which this particular budget is predicated upon.